Alrighty. Hello, Hamilton County 4th graders. We are working in week 5 now. If you're seeing this video on Sunday, it's because I uploaded it early because I will not be at the house Monday or Tuesday. And so if you are watching this on Sunday, happy Sunday. If you're watching this on Monday, happy Monday. Either way, we're going to start with day 1 in the instructional book 308 through 309, practice 313 through 314. And we have our day 12 countdown. Now, today's lessons are going to be a little different because we do not have protractors. I'm going to make a note. No protractor. That way, I remember that we were not able to actually do these pages all the way through, or at least not as accurately, because we do not have protractors at home. I don't even think I have a protractor here. I don't. I just have the one that I have through that free math app, and I won't be able to use that for this. We'll try, but no guarantees. Anywho, jumping right into it. Lesson 29, page 308. We are looking at this angle that Kara drew. They're asking us what is the measure of the angle. Now they say you can use the benchmark angles. Remember, we have 90 degrees and 180 degrees as our benchmark angles because we know a 90-degree angle looks like that and a 180-degree angle looks like that. Looks like a straight line. So if we were to try and make a 90-degree angle out of this, here we go. This would be a 90-degree angle, just like they showed here. So we know that Kara's angle is going to be more than 90 degrees. So it is neither a right angle or an acute angle. It is an obtuse angle. They also go down here and explain a little bit more on how to use a protractor when measuring angles. We talked about that circle where the vertex of the angle needs to line up at. And then we start at 0 and the angle turns at 1 degrees each all the way to 180, well, not 180, excuse me, all the way to, this says, that'd be 120, 121, 122, it looks like 125 degrees there if we're reading this protractor correctly. So 125 degrees is right there. So our angle is 125 degrees. Now, when we turn the page, it's asking us to estimate the angle measure. And the way you would go about estimating is you would use that benchmark fraction. What we did down here was actually estimating that, okay, we know that this angle is going to be more than 90 degrees, but it's going to be less than 180 degrees because this would be the 180 degree this would be the 180 degree angle. So it's going to be anywhere between 90 degrees and 180 degrees. And looking at the protractor, it looks like it's going to be about 125 degrees. So we're going to say 125 degrees, just using the protractor picture that they gave us. Said, why must you line up the protractor's center point with the vertex of an angle? So they're asking us, why must the middle or the vertex of our angle be in that little tiny circle on the protractor? Well, the vertex of the angle must be the same as the vertex of the circle that the protractor is part of. So that's what we're going to write. We're going to write the vertex of the angle must be the same value. Must be the same as the vertex of the circle. Vertex of the circle that the protractor is a part of. That the protractor is a part of. So this is the vertex of a circle right here. If we were to have a double-sided protractor, this would be the exact center of our circle. Number 4 says if you line up one ray with either mark showing 10 degrees or 170 degrees instead of either mark showing 0 degrees or 180 degrees, how would it change which mark the other ray points to? So what they're saying is, what if instead of putting our vertex here is, what was the other one? 10 degrees. So instead of putting it here, we put it here. Or instead of putting it here, we put it over here. How would that affect the measure of our angle if we moved our angle all the way over here? Or we can look at it. I do have that app pulled up. We can look at it real quick. That's just the video uploading, not that app, this app. So if we were to put our shape down, if we were to measure it from over here, it wouldn't show a 90-degree angle, would it? It would show, it would be way, way off, right? You have to make sure that your vertex is exactly where the middle of the circle is, or where that spot on the protractor is that symbolizes the middle of the circle. Okay. So, going back to number 4, where it says if you line up one ray with either mark showing 10 degrees or 170 degrees instead of either mark showing the 0 degrees or the 180 degrees, how would it change which mark the other ray points to? Well, the other ray would be exactly this much off of its actual angle or actual degree, right? So we would say the other ray would point 10 degrees or 170 degrees past the correct measure. One more time. If we wanted to measure an angle and you did not line your shape up directly with the middle of that circle, you're going to be that much off. Like if we started it over here, our ray would actually point over here, which is exactly 10 degrees past the point that it's supposed to start at. Number 5 says, line up either mark showing 0 degrees or 180 degrees with one ray. Which mark does the other ray point to? So, going back to our picture, we already said that this looked like about 125. It's either 125 or 55. You see these bottom numbers under here? These matter too. If we were to start, if the angle were to start over here and came over here, we would look at these bottom numbers. But since it's over here, it's over, we could either say 125 degrees or 55 degrees. And obviously, if you look at your angle, you know that angle is going to be more than 55 degrees because this is an obtuse angle. So you would use your, common sense to say, oh, it's going to be 125. There's no way that that's 55 degrees. Number 6, which number of degree is the measure of the angle? Explain how you know. We knew, we just did that. We know that the angle is more than 90 degrees. So the larger degree is the measure of the angle. If you need to pause the video for a minute to get that written down, that's okay. But we are going down to number 7. Now, this is where we're not going to be able to really follow along with the book because we do not have a protractor. So number 7 says, Phi draws a flag. What is the measure of the angle on the right end of the flag? So here's your flag. You go to the right end. Here's your angle. We know that this is going to be an acute angle. And if we were to take that angle and think about it as a whole circle, we're just going to be estimating, this would be 90 degrees. This is less than 90 degrees. It's acute. We already decided that. It's not quite half of this, so it's not going to be a 45-degree angle. It's going to be a little bit less. We're going to say that it's either 40 degrees or smaller. Dr. Orts checks an x-ray of a patient's elbow. What is the angle formed by the bones? So they're talking about this angle right here. Let's use we know that this is going to be obtuse because it is way more than 90 degrees. Let's draw our benchmark angle, that 90-degree angle. It's going to be way more than 90 degrees. In fact, if we were to think about this in terms of the protractor, let's say that this is our protractor. Remember, this is going to be our 180-degree line that comes straight out, which you can't really see that because it's black. Still can't see that. But it's really close to that 180-degree marker. So this is probably going to be anywhere. It's going to be larger than 90 degrees. It's going to be larger than the 145 degrees. We're going to call it about 150 degrees because it's not quite at the 180 mark for us to really say that it's 180 degrees. Alright, on to the practice page. Page 313 says use a protractor to measure angles. Omar drew the angle at the right. What is the measure of the angle? Well, they lined up the vertex with the center of the protractor right there in that little circle right there. They look at the other ray and read the numbers of the degrees on the protractor. So looking here, we know it's going to be more than 90. So this is 90, this is 100, this would be 110, but we're not looking at the angle coming from here. We're looking at the angle coming from here. So paying attention to which direction the angle is going in, you're going to select the smaller degree because this is the angle that you are measuring, and that is not an obtuse angle. That is an acute angle. Read the number of degrees on the protractor to find the measure of the angle. So here's our vertex. Let's zoom in a little bit. Here's our vertex. We go from 0, we move 1 degree at a time through the circle. We pass the 90-degree mark. We pass the 100 mark. So we're at 105, it looks like here. 105 degrees. Then it says use the protractor. Then it says to use the protractor to measure the angle below. Since we do not have a protractor, we are going to break this down in, okay, this is less than 90 degrees, so it's going to be an acute angle. If we were to draw our benchmark angle, that would be our 90-degree mark right here. It looks like it's about half of each. And so we're going to say that it is, well, it's a little bit more than halfway, isn't it? So we're going to say it's 50 degrees. I would accept anything between 40 and 60 degrees as an answer, just as an estimation. Number 3. The beam from the flashlight forms an angle. The angle measures what? So here's our vertex. This would be our benchmark angle of a 90 degrees. That's what we're going to base this off of. Alright, we know that it's going to be an acute angle. It's way more, it's a little bit more than halfway of that. So halfway between a 90-degree angle is going to be 45 degrees. So I would take anything from 55 degrees through 80 degrees. Because it looks like it might only have maybe 10 degrees in between there. Me personally, I'm going to meet in the middle and just say 75 degrees. Number 4, measure one angle of the polygon at the right. The angle measures what degree? First off, what kind of polygon is this? How many sides does it have? It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is going to be an octagon. And you might remember from 3rd grade when you were categorizing polygons and quadrilaterals, you would say that it would have 8 sides and so many vertices. Well, the vertices are the same as that vertex in that angle. So this is a vertice, this is a vertice, vertice, so on and so forth. Anywhere that the rays make a point. So now you know that an octagon has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 vertices. Getting back to the lesson part of this though, we want to measure just this one angle. So we're going to create our benchmark angle, which is going to look kind of like that. This would be our 90-degree angle. And this is a little bit more than our 90-degree angle. So it'd probably be safe if this was your 180-degree angle, this is your 90-degree angle. This is probably about midway between those. So I would take anywhere from 135 degrees to 145 degrees as an estimation for that angle. Number 5, measure the angle of the triangle at the right. So we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to base this off of what we know. So A, you might want to say it's a 90-degree angle, but not quite. If we were to, maybe if I can use my ruler, I'd have a better time of this. So, let's see. There's the angle. A 90-degree angle would look more like this. So that would be your 90-degree angle right here. So this is going to be smaller. So this is your 180. This is your 90. This is going to be smaller than 90 degrees. So I would almost want to say that looks maybe like 10. So I would take anywhere from 80 degrees to 90 degrees as an estimation for this angle. If we look at angle B, this is our benchmark angles. This would be the 180 degree, and then to make a 90 degree, it would look like that. So this is going to be smaller than 90 degrees too. It doesn't quite meet the halfway mark. So I would take anywhere from 50 degrees to 70 degrees as an estimation of what this angle might actually measure. And then angle C. There's our 180, and then your 90 degree would look like, I'm just going to do this in a different color so we don't get confused with the other one, would look like that. This is your 90. So it's going to be less than 90 degrees, looking at it from here. Go. Does it look like it? It looks like it's right there almost at the halfway point. So anything less than 45 degrees is what I would take. Less than 45 degrees. Alright. On to our countdown, day 12. It says select the multiples of 8 shown in the chart. I'm going to use a highlighter for this. So remember, a multiple is the same thing as a product. We have factors in multiplication. We multiply our factors to get a product, and that product is also called a multiple. So we're only looking at the multiples of 8. So 8 has to be a factor. So multiples of 8 would be 8 times 1, 8 times 2, 8 times 3, 8 times 4, 8 times 5. Those are your multiples. If you wanted the factors of 8, your factors would be 4 and 2 and 1 and 8. Make sense? Number 2 says, what factors do 12 and 24 have in common? Remember, the factor is the numbers that we multiply. So we need to list the factors for 12. Well, the factors for 12 are 1 times 12, 2 times 6, and 3 times 4. The factors of 24 are 1 times 24, 2 times 12 is 3, 3 times 8, and 4 times 6. So the ones that they have in common, the factors that 12 and 24 share, you have 1, which is a factor that all numbers share, because any number times itself, or times 1 is itself. We have 2, we have 3, 4, and 6. And those are your answers. So 1, 3, 6. Oh, they don't even have 4 listed. Oh well. But those are the ones that they do have. They do share. Oh no, I messed up my... There we go. Alright, number 3. What multiple of 8 is also a factor of 8? So let's look up here, because we already listed, remember the pink is our multiples of 8, and the green are our factors of 8. So what multiple of 8 is also a factor of 8? 8. 8 is a multiple and a factor, because 8 times 1 is 8. Alright, number 4. Number 4 says the following numbers follow a pattern with a rule of add 7. So we have 33. 33 goes to 40. Let's test that rule. 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. So if we add 7 to 33, we get 40. We add 7 to 40, we get 47. We add 7 to 54, we get 61. Which of the following numbers would not fit in this pattern? So we have, let's see, 75 would fit because that'd be the next one. 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68. That'd be 68. 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75. 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82. So already looking at how I'm keeping my pattern going and looking at these numbers, I've got 75, but I already have 82. Can I add 7 to 82 and get to 84? No. So the number that does not fit into this pattern is going to be 84, and you can always test that. 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89. Add another 7, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 96. So there's 96. And then the next one would be 103. So the only one that does not fit is B, 84. Alright, number 5. Let's see how this number 5 works out. Jalen created a number pattern with the rule of multiply by 3 and then subtract 2. Use the table below to complete a number pattern that follows those rules. Then explain your thinking of how you completed the table. So if I wanted to start my table, let's say I want to start it at 2. In order to get to my next number, I need to multiply 2 times 3, which is 6. And then I need to subtract 2 from that. 6 minus 2 would be 4. And we do it again. 4 times 3 is 12 minus 2 would be 10. It says, then explain your thinking of how you completed the table. Well, all we did was we took our first number and multiplied it by 3 and then subtracted by 2. Boom. And that completes our day 1 of week 5. Again, if you did have a protractor at home by some crazy chance, use it. If not, we went through and hopefully you learned a lot about how to estimate angles using those angle benchmarks of 90 degrees and 180 degrees. Okay? And that's a great way to even eliminate some problems. Like if you were to have this shown and it didn't give you a protractor to measure it by, knowing where the 180 degree mark and the 90 degree mark will help you eliminate some answers. Like if they said one of your answers, if it looked like this, if it was like 80 degrees, 90 degrees, and then the 125 degrees, obviously it's not going to be either one of those because it goes past that 90 degree benchmark. Alrighty, I will see you guys with day 2 in just a little bit.